What's up, guys? I'm Chris. I'm here at Meacham Urban Farm in Tampa, Florida, somewhere that I shop at all the time.
And I'm Joe DeLessia. I'm one of the owners and operators here at the farm. And today we're going to take Chris around and show him the place.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been here?
We've been on site here for about 3 years. So me and Travis started the project about 5 to 6 years ago. It's about 2 years of planning and permitting, working with the city and the Hillsborough County School District and the Tampa Housing Authority to build this farm. The Hillsborough County School District owns the land, and it's a 2¼ acre land. And on that, we farm about 1 acre of it.
Gotcha.
Out here.
How'd you get into this to start? Like, were you farming elsewhere first?
So yeah, I had a farm called Blackfinger Farm. That was my first original farm. That was up in Lutz. So it was up towards where I grew up as a child. I decided to stay here in Tampa after I graduated, and I started that project. And that was just a CSA farm, which is Community Supported Agriculture Farm.
Gotcha.
And so I built a CSA up there. It was a 50-member CSA. And then Travis approached me about this project kind of very serendipitously. And then I had another 4-acre farm, shut those both down just to focus on this project here because I thought it was special. It's a great location, and we can build something really, really cool here, which I was excited for. So dropped off all the other ones and focused on this one.
Yeah, so cool in the city, and then all of a sudden you stumble upon this place.
Yeah,
and it's like, wow, that's so cool.
And it's just like a little gym. It's like a really nice community spot with the skate park. We got the basketball courts, and we're really connected. We work close with the Tampa Housing Authority, who builds all the subsidized housing in Tampa. And so we're trying to create that access to the food in the community.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
I love that.
Like being directly in there, it's really cool. I never thought I'd be farming in the city, but it's a trip.
I've been coming for 1.5 years, and it's crazy like how much more stuff you guys have now from when I first started coming.
Yeah, and these projects, like just building up that soil, the style of farming that we do, that more regenerative style, it takes years to really develop the soil so you can actually produce that volume and that quality off of it. And so we're trying to stay here and then build it up over the next 5-10 years, and we'll produce quality of produce that's be out of this world. It'll be
awesome.
exciting. Basically, to my left here, one of our fields, and you can see if we walk over here, these are all onions. So these are all of our bulbing onions. We'll harvest these over the next 2 months. But we start pulling nice, fresh spring onions in March.
Nice.
And I love grilling those. Like you chop them in half, open face grilling with some olive oil. They're fantastic. But you can see like the bed stakes on here. So we grow everything in a permanent style bed system. So what we do is we focus on that area in between those stakes year after year to develop that soil. So it's not only for biological reasons, but it's also for economic reasons and ergonomic reasons, for ability for workers to work over beds, to the side of them. So everything is standardized to the human body to make it for easy of work, efficiency, and high volume production on a small scale.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you want to just explain that a little bit more about the soil, like why that's important and how you regenerative agriculture?
Yeah, so I mean, it's my personal preference. I've done hydroponic, I've done aquaponics in the past. This is the way I love to grow. It's working with your environment, working with the ecosystem, and working with the seasons and the cycle of nature. And I think it's the best way to grow. It's the one that it makes sense. But down to, like from the health aspect of it, it's truly the only way I feel, and research shows that you can get the micronutrients that you need in the vegetables is through soil production. So farming that way is not only, it's better for us to eat in our community, but it's also better on the environment. So it's like all pluses. It's lower overhead, lower cost to do. And like the goal is to eventually, like if I can get the resources together, is do tens of thousands of acres, not just vegetables, but timber, and start doing like large scale regenerative farm practices and really start changing environmental moisture content of regions. And
that's awesome.
Yeah,
and that's a big topic nowadays too, with like supplementation and how the soil doesn't produce as nutritious food as it once did. So that's really cool and interesting to hear about.
What's crazy about that is reading a book. They've been doing that research since like the 50s of like how when they started transitioning to more industrial agriculture, especially during the war and stuff like that. And had all these byproducts, but it's not changing. They can see how depleted soils are producing depleted food, and those practices are just having negative impacts on the soil, and especially after generations and generations.
You go to Whole Foods, these people don't care about what they're selling you, and like coming here, the people that you're buying it from like actually care about the quality. And obviously it tastes better, it's fresher, but it's also just healthier for you. So I rather spend double and have it from people who actually care than just people trying to mass produce it, and you can tell the difference in the quality. So.
And that'll come down to, it's like as more people start wanting to support local agriculture, those prices will naturally come down, as just like economics of it.
Exactly.
So right now it's like it's such a niche market that to make a living, it's like, for one, it's harder. We're not doing this mass volume. We're trying to compete with someone that can grow an onion for a penny where it cost us $2 to grow.
Yeah, and that's part of my goal for this is, giving people the awareness and like why that you should shop at local farms.
He's legitimately out here.
Shopping. I post it on Instagram every day, so they better see.
The structures you see here, we have 3 main greenhouses on the farm. Our primary production is the trellis tomatoes that you'll see at the fall and springtime. Right now they're empty. We're getting ready to plant a new crop in there. So next week these will start filling up with tomatoes, and then we'll start harvesting again in a month or 2.
Cool.
And then when you look down the farm, what we try to do is an ecological approach to farming. So what we're doing is establishing perennial hedges of non-natives and native plants to create a habitat for insects, beneficial insects, to stay here, to have a home, and then they protect the crops, eating the negative insects and kind of competing with those other insects. It's still experimental of like what works, what brings in what. This flower here, it's called a Lara flower, and so that one specifically attracts a Lara wasp, and that wasp goes after a mole cricket, so it lays eggs in a mole cricket, and that is the only flower they eat their nectar off of, and that gives them the energy to go lay these eggs in the mole cricket. So we try to promote like that flower more around the farm, because when we first got here, the mole crickets are out of control. We couldn't put a plant in the ground without them eating it. Knowing which, what insects and things are good for the environment in this ecosystem, you can start doing fun stuff like that. It's like balancing it out.
That's crazy. I never knew you did stuff like that.
This right here is our tool rack. We like to keep it generally organized. Right now it's a little sloppy because we're still in the process of working today. But you can see everything is based off of hand, working the soil by hand. So we use very traditional methods to work amendments into our soil, work compost into our soil, and manage our weeds. So there's no chemical spraying or anything like that on the farm. It's all done by hand. And the way that we can control it, like you see out here, it's like pretty weed free across the whole farm. It's preemptive weeding. It's knowing which weeds to go after and when to go after them. And a big thing about it is like weeding when the weeds aren't there. So we do a lot of these preventative techniques of, like this one here is just a flame weeder. So it's hooked up to a propane tank, and we can just burn the weeds, so you don't have to use these chemicals. And they make these for large scale tractors on the back side of them and stuff like that. So it's these really cool things. And then we got stuff on the other side. It's like a transplanter, so we actually don't have to bend down and plant the plants. It just plants them for us, and so we actually can be economically viable on a small scale.
So you don't spray anything?
Nothing. Yeah, not even organic biologicals. It's like, my approach to, or our approach here at Meacham to pest management is, the healthier our soil and the plants are, the more they can resist the attacks from pests and diseases. And so that's like where the research is at. It's like the healthier you can get those plants, the more they can combat those pests and diseases.
Yeah, and that's something I had a couple questions about too, is like, even though it's technically organic, most places still use organic pesticides, and like who knows if that's actually healthy or safe.
So a lot of those farms are like, basically they farm organically, but they just, it's still chemical based farming. So they use all these like chelated minerals. They use chrysanthemum extracts, like these really strong, they're organic, but they're very, very strong things. Instead of actually focusing on the health of the plant, they're still just, they're just transitioning out the synthetics for the organics, but it's still like a chemical style farming. So when you get out into like Plant City and you see all those guys on like plastic mulch and stuff like that, we don't use any of that here. It's not necessary, but we've gotten this trap where we think it's like that's the only way we can be economically viable and competitive, and but it's a lot about planning and being smart.
Yeah.
So this is one of our fields here. You ever pulled a carrot before?
No.
Dude, this is your day, man. We'll get you full of carrot. So this is a carrot bed. Yeah. So this is a 60-day carrot. But yeah, if you get in there and you just check the base, give it a rip out, man. Check it out. Don't even pull a bad one. Don't pull a bad one.
This one seems good.
Yeah. That's decent. That's decent. Yeah. It's got a little wonky. Like you get some good ones in here.
Oh yeah. Ooh, look at that.
Look at that, man. Satisfying, isn't it?
It is.
It's like one of the scariest things to grow because you don't know if they're going to form properly or not.
Gotcha.
And it's like only until you harvest them do you know that. Because you get like some of this wonky stuff, and
gotcha.
Like the straighter, the smoother they are, the better.
This is a nice one.
Yeah.
And I've eaten these carrots a lot. They're good.
So this is our third greenhouse here. This is filled with strawberries. And we do a little bit of strawberries to supplement them from like what we get from Thanona Sassa and Plant City. I have to say those guys are a lot better at growing strawberries than us. They've been doing it for generations, and so we try not to grow too many of them, but I'd have you eat some, but we just harvest them fresh. So there's none out there.
Gotcha. Well, I made ice cream with their strawberries, and it was some of the best I've ever made.
That's good. So to our right here, this is what we're experimenting with now, is these marginal areas where we actually can't grow vegetables. Is we're trying to find certain fruit trees, bananas, peaches that can fill these spaces and still produce a lot of food for us. So although we can't grow vegetables in that area due to, you know, the sunlight, the roots from the oaks, we're still experimenting with high production, you know, fruit trees. So like right here, it's like we have 4 different types of bananas, but you can see like the racks coming in.
Yeah. So why is it that the fruit is easier than the vegetables?
So annuals are very intensive very quickly, and the way that these root systems work, and you know, like the fungi and bacteria that are established underneath these oak trees, for one, the vegetables want intense sun. You know, they take a lot of energy to grow. They grow very quickly, and then they would have to compete with the oak tree for that that moisture, the nutrients. And especially on this site, we have such low fertility when we first started that they just wouldn't be able to compete. They would just be all yellowing, they wouldn't be healthy, we'd have more pest and disease issues. And so these bananas and stuff like that, they have better, you know, they work better with those oak roots in the ground, and you know, they can grow better symbiotically with them.
My question about the bananas is, why do they take so long to get ripe?
We're harvesting them green. This style of banana, the one that we have that is our most productive, is like the traditional Cavendish that they would grow down like Chiquita and stuff like that, the big plantations. And so they're bred to harvest green, but so we just have, and then they force ripen them with ethylene and stuff. And so we're trying to figure out how to do it, because the plants, you know, they produce like 80 pounds of bananas. And we're like, that's great. But the ripening process is a lot different than like these smaller ones.
Gotcha.
But they ripen eventually.
I put them in a paper bag and it speeds it up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So to the left, we got more carrots, lettuce heads coming in. And then this is interesting here. It's another fun thing that we're playing with. And it's actually a good time to see it. These are all peach trees here. So we're experimenting with like 3 varieties of peaches. But what we're doing is we're doing a technique called espalier, developed by the French. And most of the style of farming that we do here is actually developed by the French, because they're very land restricted. So what we're doing is we're trellising these peaches in a 2D fashion along these wires to not take up a lot of space. So we're trying to force them to grow compact in 2D. Otherwise, these would be like 15-foot, you know, diameter plants. To whereas these, they just stay in a line. They're super easy to harvest. We could manage them really easily. And they don't take up a lot of space, and they'll be very, very productive and easy to, you know, pull the fruits off of. What's cool about these peaches all fruit on the year's cane that is growing. So this cane grew over the summer, you know, spring and summer. This is a fresh cane, and then this one will flower, and then we'll get the fruit off of it. And then once it's done fruiting, this cane will no longer produce fruit ever again in its life. So what we'll do is we'll cut it off here and let a new cane grow out, and then fruit that next year. So this plant will only grow 1 inch a year, but it'll get thicker and thicker. So it can stay very compact and still produce a ton of fruit. So all this will have flowers on it this year, all of these.
That's awesome. I love that, the little tricks to maximize what you can get out of this place.
We're very conscious about that here, because we're such land restricted that we have to be. How we operate is like this acre of land, a traditional farm maybe get 2 harvests a year off of that acre. We get 4 harvests off the acre just because we got a long season down here. So we get 2 more harvests. So that acre acts like 4 acres.
Gotcha.
And so we can produce a ton of volume over the course of the year. This is our compost area where we manage all the waste from the farm. We have very minimal waste, but what we do have is we process it here, turn it into soil, and compost that goes back out into the fields next year.
What is the waste from the most part?
Processing of the vegetables. So like pulling off outside leaves of cabbages, or like pulling out dead leaves or leaves that have spots on them. That's where we get most of our waste. But traditionally, we've been thankful enough is we're selling everything that we're growing and really minimizing that waste. There's some like very novelty things like some of the Asian greens that you've probably seen in the store that's like, they're not very popular. We'll have to toss those or give them to the chickens.
Gotcha.
But chickens are a great processor of waste, because then they can eat the greens and produce eggs still.
I know when you buy the carrots here, they ask you if you want to keep the tops or not, and then feed it to the chickens.
Yeah, they love the carrot tops, so they get a lot of them.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's a healthy chicken compared to most in the stores as well. Cool.
Here, since you've never seen it, I don't know if you've ventured back this far, but this is our apiary. So this is where, the honey that we have in the store.
Oh, yeah.
So we got like 15 hives or so back, well, more now, but you can see the bees coming in and out.
Yeah.
So we'll produce the honey here. We have a guy, Paul, who manages all the bees here.
It's cool. I don't think I've ever gotten the honey here.
Oh, it's good stuff, man.
Yeah, I have to.
The ones in the glass jars from that bee guy, the honey comes from here.
Nice.
More kale, garlic coming in.
Ooh, I can't wait for the garlic.
Yeah, they're tricky down
here, man. That's those ones, the skinny green ones?
Yeah, the skinny green ones coming up. They can be super tricky. So we got more bananas, mangoes coming in. They're flowering right now. These ones here. And this
is the mango?
Yeah. What's cool about mangoes too is you can break off here and you can smell what the mango will smell like.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you can smell that sap in there.
Yeah.
This area here is our propagation house. So this is where we start everything at. Everything stays in here from 1 to 6 weeks for some stuff, and then it goes into the field. So we kind of baby them in here, take care of them, grow them to a certain size that we like, and then it goes straight into the field.
What are all these?
Yeah, so we got green onions, different lettuce mixes, spinach, tomatoes on the bigger side, and then a bunch of beets over there. And what's cool is like you can see in here, like what I was talking about earlier, is like we have a transplanter that plants things for us, so we actually don't have to bend down anymore. But this is called a paper pot system, so you can see how it unravels. So we put this in the transplanter, and then it unravels and plants them for us. This would take us 5 hours to plant. And we can plant it in 5 minutes.
Wow.
So it's like really cool little tools like that they made for small scale farming that can actually make us, productive and efficient. And this was developed by the Japanese sugar beet farmers to plant sugar beets.
Is this green onion too right here?
This is cilantro.
Oh, nice.
So there's like specific plants that we grow in this tray. Like tomatoes, we don't grow in it. We want them larger. But definitely like green onions, spinach.
Those green onions get huge. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. These ones are getting a little bit too big in here. But yeah, that's pretty much like we got the onions and cilantro on the side, but this is our prop house table, and that's pretty much our farm, man. So this is, the store.
Yep.
So we harvest directly on site and we sell directly on site, which is super niche, super cool, especially in an urban environment to do soil farming and then sell it directly on site and make it accessible to the community. But what's cool about what we do here too is we work with about 14 other farms right now to bring in their products as well. I'm trying to build a platform here for farmers to become a lot more successful, since we have such an access to the community. we can be that platform, that connection from the farmers to the public. Yep. So they don't have to be the salesman. You know, they can have a reliable representative for them, and then hopefully we can build up a big enough clientele to, you know, move a ton of product for them.
Hell yeah. That was one of the questions someone asked me, is like about selling online. Like, is that something you'd ever be interested in doing, or what?
We try. We don't have the infrastructure for it yet.
Gotcha.
You know, we don't have insane amount of volume, so we focus directly on the store. We tried to do online sales, and we just weren't ready for it.
Yeah.
Like the home delivery, honestly, and it just didn't work out quite as well as I wanted it to.
Hey, it happens.
Yeah.
You got tomatillos?
We got just some little green tomatoes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we got olive oil. So this guy, he's got an olive farm here in Florida, and then a percentage of the olives that he grows here, it gets blended with his California olives, and this is probably
I bought some of this.
Yeah, it's probably the closest thing you can get to actual Florida olive oil.
Yeah.
It's so hard to get.
That's cool.
But yeah, we got fresh strawberries from like Passion. We got some honey bells. The unripening ripe
these are looking pretty ripe. I'm gonna have to steal these ones.
Yeah. You get those ones. And then we got, of course, the raw dairies, which is great stuff. The ferments from Buddha's Garden.
Yep.
And so, which is cool about his stuff, he gets stuff directly from us and other local producers, and then basically what would be not byproducts, but not very popular crops, and he turns them into very popular pantry items like the kimchi, sauerkrauts. He's one of the most supportive people I've ever met for local agriculture. He goes out of his way to not only help farmers make more money by using their product, but just trying to connect farmer to farmers. And bridge that, because farmers are always so busy. It takes guys like Shane to actually like bring this community together.
Yeah.
It's just really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this stuff is great too.
Oh, it's delicious. The hot sauce, everything.
Yeah.
Of course, we got the veg, carrots, sweet potatoes, cauliflowers, snap peas. So we got a little bit of everything here. And don't mind our process of, you know, rebuilding this thing. We got like half wood.
Oh yeah.
It's all right.
I love the lion's mane mushrooms.
Oh yeah, we do the lion's mane crab cakes and stuff. It's really good. But we do have a local Portobello farm.
And you grow the microgreens too.
Yeah, microgreens, different Asian baby greens. Cool. You do a lot of microgreens?
Yeah, I like just sprinkle them on top, because I'm eating a lot of like bro bowls of just rice and protein.
Yeah,
so it's easy to just throw them on top.
I mean, that's a great way to use them.
Yeah. And like if someone just wants to get more greens in their diet, it's just easy, convenient. You don't have to cook them. You know, it's just, I'll throw them in smoothies too. Yeah.
It's like a big reason why it's like just everything you have, sandwich or anything, because it's more nutrients in them than putting lettuce on your sandwich or on a rice bowl or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice flavor, spiciness.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, now it's time to cook some steaks. Let's throw this ribeye right here.
Ooh, that sounds good.
My name is Christy Lee. I'm the store lead here at Meacham Urban Farm.
What do you like about working here?
What I like most about working here is that it isn't just another stop on your never-ending to-do list. I feel like it's very hyper-personalized, and we really go out of our way to get to know all of the regulars. So when they come here, it's a very personalized shopping experience, and I love it from someone who's been in the service industry forever, that there's not a lot of rules or regulations or anything. It's kind of just good vibes all the time, and getting to eat food that grown right here from where I work. Yeah, that's definitely a pro.
Cool. Yeah, and something I was saying too, how when you come here, you know the people actually care about what they do, and you feel like you're just shopping with your friends. Like it's not like you're at a Whole Foods and someone's just at a register.
I know.
Just trying to get through the day. So
they don't even greet you by name or anything.
Yeah, exactly. So just you feel it's good coming here. Why is it important to shop local?
Shopping local, especially here, it really helps bolster this community. There's a lot of people who rely on SNAP and EBT benefits here, so the more that people shop local and support us, the the more we're able to support them. And then shopping local too, especially for produce, you get all the nutritional benefits, exposed to the allergens that you wouldn't otherwise get if you're eating produce that's been on a truck for 2 to 3 months before it ever got to you. And I think that those benefits definitely outweigh anywhere else.
Yeah, cool. All right, I'm here with Kyla. She is a Meacham shopper. So what makes you want to shop here?
I just love that I can support local, and I don't want to be buying things from the grocery store where I don't know where they came from. I don't know, what was sprayed on them when they were grown. So I like to support people doing good things and creating produce that I can trust.
So I see you had a gallon of raw milk. Tell me about that.
I've been drinking raw milk for 5 years now, maybe less. But I mean, it's the only milk that I drink. I love it.
What's so good about it?
It's nutrient dense. It's not pasteurized with all the shit killed out. Am I allowed to curse on here?
Go ahead.
It's not pasteurized with all the nutrients depleted and all that. It's from happy cows living on happy farms, and it's a superfood.
But isn't it dangerous?
No, not if it's from happy cows and safe farms.
That's the correct answer. I'm here with Nicole. What is your title?
Farmer.
Why is this place so special?
This place is special because we are growing food for our community right here in downtown Tampa. And so like the accessibility and the freshness of the produce makes it super special.
Awesome. And why is it important to shop local?
First off, for your health, because the food is more nutritionally dense, the fresher it is. It's important to shop local to support local business, keep the money in the community, and then it's also important because it's better for the environment, reduces food miles and your carbon footprint.
Love it. What's your favorite part about working here?
The community that we are slowly building, having customers like you come out every week and many, many more that we see on a regular basis, not only here at the store, but different events and then even outside of the farm and hanging out and meeting new friends and really forming a community around the food system here in Tampa.
Cool. All right, perfect. Thank you. Twitter's favorite beverage. These bananas. I love the herbs. I always load up some cilantro, some thyme, some oregano, some chives, and some parsley, which I will use to make chimichurri. The green onions, which we just had, are fantastic. I love these carrots. I should go back and get the ones that I plucked. Some romaine, make a little Caesar salad this weekend. Ooh, this is a big boy. The peanut butter, to make the peanut butter cups. Try these little oranges. These are cool. I've been wanting to try some of Shane's salsa verde. Look at that color on that meat. That's how you know it's good. I got 2 of these tenderloins. This is cool. Organ blend. 20% heart and liver. Sausage. Yeah, I'll try some sausage. I think I'm all set. We're loading up today. All right, hope you guys enjoyed the tour, learned something along the way. If you're ever in Tampa, Florida, make sure to check out Meacham Urban Farm. I'm all stocked up, ready to go home and cook, and we'll see you guys soon.